Bernoulli's theorem and its applications. In 1738, the Swiss scientist Daniel Bernoulli developed a relationship for the flow of fluid through a pipe of varying cross section. So note the point, varying cross section. He proposed a theorem for the streamlined flow of a liquid based on the law of conservation of energy. Bernoulli's theorem. According to Bernoulli's theorem, the sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy per unit mass of an incompressible non-viscous fluid in a streamlined flow remains a constant. Mathematically, this can be written as P by rho half V square plus GH is equal to constant. So in the previous video we have seen about the potential energy, kinetic energy and pressure energy per unit mass. We have seen already. So mathematically when you add all these three, it should be a constant. This is known as Bernoulli's equation. Proof. Figure 7.33, flow of liquid through a pipe AB. So this is pipe AB. This opening is at height H1. The B opening is at height H2. The area of the cross section at the inlet is A1. The area of the cross section at the outlet is A2. Let us consider a flow of liquid through a pipe AB. Let V be the volume of the liquid when it enters A in a time t, which is equal to the volume of the liquid leaving B in the same time. That means during time t, the volume of the liquid is equal to, for the same time, the volume out of this outlet B is equal, because we say the liquid is incompressible. That's why we mention in the Bernoulli's theorem it is an incompressible liquid or fluid. Let AA, VA and PA be the area of the cross section of the tube, velocity of the liquid and pressure exerted by the liquid at A respectively. Let the force exerted by the liquid at A. So we all know that force is equal to pressure into area. This we are dealing at the inlet. So FA is equal to PA. We know that velocity is equal to distance by time. Therefore distance is equal to VA into T. Therefore work done is equal to force into displacement or distance. Force we know PA and distance we know VAT. So we have substituted in this equation. But we all know that VA into T is nothing but AA into D, which is nothing but volume. That means because velocity is equal to distance by time, time gets cancelled, area into distance will give you volume. Therefore AVT simply can be written as volume. So here also if you see AV area velocity multiplied by time is nothing but the volume. Volume of the liquid entering at A. Thus the work done is the pressure energy at A. Work done is equal to force into displacement. So that is pressure P multiplied by volume at A. Okay. Next. Pressure energy per unit volume at A, that is pressure energy per unit volume. Pressure energy, just now we have PV at A, therefore A subscript divided by V. VV gets cancelled, which is equal to PA. Pressure energy per unit mass, that is pressure energy at A. Pressure energy by mass, PAV by M. Now you bring this V to the denominator, so this will become PA divided by M by V, that is PA by rho. Rho is nothing but density. You all know that density is equal to mass by volume. Up to this it's clear. Since M is the mass of the liquid entering at A in a given time, therefore pressure energy of the liquid at A. We already know pressure energy EP at A, therefore the subscript A is equal to P into V. So P into V, you multiply by M and divide by M. Why we do this? Because density is equal to mass by volume. You bring this volume to the denominator, that is M by V. M by V will become rho. Therefore we can write pressure energy of the liquid at A is mass into pressure at A divided by density. Okay. Potential energy of the liquid at A. Next we are coming to potential energy. Potential energy is, we know the formula, mgh. Now we deal with the inlet A. Therefore mgha. Due to the flow of liquid, the kinetic energy of the liquid. Next we deal with kinetic energy. First is pressure energy, second is potential energy, third is kinetic energy. We all know that half mv square. We deal with the inlet. So kinetic energy at point A is equal to half mv square. So subscript A refers to inlet A. Therefore the total energy due to the flow of liquid at A. So this E is total energy at A is equal to pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy at A. Just now we got the answer for all these things. Pressure energy is MPA by rho, mass into pressure at A divided by rho. Potential energy is mgh at A. Kinetic energy is half mv squared, subscript is A. Okay. Now we have analyzed what is happening, the total energy at the inlet A. Similarly, now we are going to analyze at B. So at B, we have already seen this diagram. If you see, the height is h2, B is the outlet, area of the cross section is A2. So keeping this in mind, so this is one equation. Similarly, we can write at the outlet, the total energy at point B, at the outlet B is mass into, here pressure at inlet, here outlet. So pressure at point B, outlet B divided by rho, plus half mv squared, here also half mv square, but here we use the subscript B because at the outlet B, half mv square. This is kinetic energy. And potential energy is mgh. Now the height at B is at B, therefore h, subscript suffix B. From the law of conservation of energy, the inlet and the outlet, the energy has to be equal. Therefore EA has to be equal to EB. So basically this is a subscript, EA is equal to EB. Now you equate these two equations, this equation and this equation is equated here. Now what you do is, mass, we can see mass is throughout the equation, so divide throughout by m. Therefore m gets cancelled. PA by rho plus half VA square plus GHA is equal to PB by rho of B square at B plus G height at B is a constant. Now, we can write this equation in a generalized form. So what is the general format? Instead of making use of this subscript defines whether it is at inlet or outlet. Otherwise, we can make a more generalized equation as P by rho G plus half V square by G plus H is equal to constant. How we got this G? So in this equation, you just divide by G. So PA by rho G half V square by G, this H by G gets cancelled, plus H is equal to constant. This will be very easy to remember. Okay. Now, the above equation is the consequence of the conservation of energy, which is true until there is no loss of energy due to friction. But in practice, some energy is lost due to friction. So this is the more practical case. But the result what we obtain is for frictionless surface. So the friction arises because of energy is lost due to friction. This arises due to the fact that in a fluid flow, the layers flowing with different velocities exert frictional forces on each other. This loss of energy is generally converted into heat energy. So there is a conversion of energy. Therefore, Bernoulli's relation is strictly valid for fluids with zero viscosity or non-viscous liquids. You can claim this way: zero viscosity, or it should be a non-viscous liquids. Both are same. So whenever you define Bernoulli's relation, you have to mention zero viscosity or for non-viscous liquids. Okay, then only this final equation is applicable. Now suppose in the final equation, if H is equal to 0. So just now we got the final relation this. If this H is going to be 0, then we have a simplified relation. So it is going to be, when H is equal to 0, P by rho G plus half V square by G is equal to constant. That is P by rho G plus half V square by G. Since H is 0, this will become H will be 0, which is equal to constant. So some of the applications we will deal in detail in next video, but I will tell you some of the applications of Bernoulli's theorem. Blowing of roofs during windstorm, then we have aerofoil lift, then Bunsen burner, then we have Venturi meter, and we have some other applications also. Hope you have understood Bernoulli's theorem. The final relation you all have to remember, and condition for applying Bernoulli's relation is important. This is applicable only for zero viscous liquids or fluids or non-viscous liquids. That's all about Bernoulli's theorem. Hope you have understood this topic in detail. Thanks for watching. Nandri.